I'm Chan Chin. I'm now going to talk about the historical background of Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat lies 5.5 kilometers north of the modern town of Siem Reap and a short distance south and slightly east of the previous capital, which was centered at Ba Huan. It is in an area of Cambodia where there is an important group of ancient structures. It is the southernmost of Angkor's main sites. According to one legend, the construction of Angkor Wat was ordered by Indra to act as a palace for his son, Precha Mele. According to the 13th century Chinese traveler, it was believed by some that the temple was constructed in a single night by a divine architect. The initial design and construction of the temple took place in the first half of the 12th century, during the reign of Suryavarman II. Dedicated to Vishnu, it was built as the king's state temple and capital city. As neither the foundation stela nor any contemporary inscriptions referring to the temple have been found, its original name is actually unknown, but it may have been known as Vara Vishnu Lok, after the preceding deity. Work seems to have ended shortly after the king's death, leaving some of the bas relief decoration unfinished. In 1177, approximately 27 years after the death of Suryavarman II, Angkor was sacked by the Chams, the traditional enemies of the Khmer. Thereafter, the empire was restored by a new king, Jayavarman VII, who established a new capital, Angkor Thom, and state temple, the Bayon, which are a few kilometers to the north. In the late 13th century, Angkor Wat gradually moved from Hindu to Buddhist use, which continues to the present day. Angkor Wat is unusual among the Angkor temples. Although it was somewhat neglected after the 16th century, it was never completely abandoned, its preservation being due in part to the fact that its moat also provided some protection from encroachment by the jungle. One of the first Western visitors to the temple was Antonio da Madaleno. He is a Portuguese monk who visited in 1586. He said that Angkor Wat is such an extraordinary construction that it is not possible to be described with a pen, particularly since it is like no other building in the world. It has towers, decoration, and all the refinements which the human genius can conceive of. Angkor Wat required considerable restoration in the 20th century, mainly the removal of accumulated earth and vegetation. However, the work was interrupted by the Civil War and Khmer Rouge control of the country during the 1970s and 1980s. But relatively little damage was done during this period other than the theft and destruction of mostly post-Angkorian statues. To sum it up, Angkor Wat, this temple, is a powerful symbol of Cambodia. It is a source of great national pride that has factored into Cambodia's diplomatic relations with France, United States, and its neighbor, Thailand. A depiction of Angkor Wat has been a part of Cambodian national flags. On 9 November in 1953, when Cambodia gained independence from France, it has controlled Angkor Wat since that time until today. I shall now pass my presentation to my group member to talk more about the structure of Angkor Wat. Thank you.
I'm Chang Ichi, and now I'm going to talk about the material used in Angkor Wat. The main building material used to construct Angkor Wat are sandstone, rather than bricks or laterite. Most of the visible areas are made of sandstone, while laterite are still used to build the outer walls and also the hidden structure parts. This is because the sandstone blocks less porous than the laterite blocks and much more able to withstand the ravage of times. Angkor Wat foundations are made of laterite, a red, porous soil that has a high iron content. Laterite is found in a hot and wet tropical environment such as Southeast Asia. At Angkor Wat, builders dug out the laterite and form it into bricks or blocks. which dry when exposed to air. They also use laterite in buildings, the temple's outer walls. The stones that remain are covered with carving and bas-relief. Other materials used to build and decorate the temple have disappeared. Sandstone is the main building material for Angkor Wat walls and towers. Researchers from Japan Waseda University identified 3 types of sandstone based on color, texture, chemical composition, and mineral content. The researchers found gray to yellow-brown sandstone, red sandstone, and a green-gray red, a hard sandstone. Water weathering, bed dropping, tree, algae, and lichen have damaged the stone.
This temple represents Mount Meru, which is the home of the Hindu gods. The central 5 towers represents the 5 peaks of the mountain, and the walls and moat represents the surrounding mountain ranges and ocean. Unlike most temples, the Angkor Wat faces west. There hasn't been a clear explanation why yet, though it has been said that Vishnu was somehow associated to the west. The terrace on which it stands on is higher than the actual city. It has 3 walls surrounding the buildings itself, each level higher than the last. These galleries have been thought to be dedicated to the king, Brahma, the moon, and Vishnu. Each gallery has a gopura on each of its points, and the 2 inner galleries each have towers at the corners. Together they form a the central tower. Since the temple faces west, the features are all set facing towards the east, leaving more space to the view in each enclosure and gallery on the west side, which is why the steps on the western side are more shallow than the ones on the side. Each gallery has a gopura on each of its points, and the 2 inner galleries each have towers at the corners. Together they form a quinquance with the central tower. Since the temple faces west, the features are all set facing towards the east, leaving more space to be filled in each enclosure and gallery on the west side, which is why the steps on the western side are more shallow than the ones on the side. The second level enclosure is 100 by 150 meters, and it might have been flooded to represent the oceans around Mount Meru. 3 sets of steps on each side lead up to the corner towers and gopuras on the inner gallery. The steep stairways represent how hard it is ascending to the home of the gods. This inner gallery, Bakan, is a 60-meter square with centric galleries connecting each gopura with the central shrine, and subsidiary shrines located below the corner towers. Carved lintels and pediments decorated the entrance which lead to the galleries and to the shrines. The tower above the central shrine peak ranges from 43 meters to a height of 65 meters above the ground. Unlike the other temples, the central tower is higher than the surrounding 4.
Like almost all temples at Angkor, the temple is oriented on an east-west axis. However, unlike most other temples, Angkor Wat is oriented to the west. Scholars are generally divided as to the significance of this. However, one reason may be due to the temple being dedicated to Vishnu, who is commonly associated with the west. An earthen causeway spans the moat to the eastern entrance, and a sandstone causeway spans the moat to the main entrance on the western side. The main western sandstone causeway is thought to be a later addition, possibly replacing an original wooden bridge. At each of these 4 main gates can be found impressive gateway, grand entrance buildings that mimic the temple proper. Within the outer city wall is an area that is around 203 up in size. When this was first rediscovered in the 19th century. It was almost completely overgrown with forest and jungle. Over recent years, around the inner temple complex and a large part of the western half of this area has now been cleared. However, the rest is still heavily forested. Originally, the area within the city wall was contained the capital city and the royal palace. But like all or other sites at Angkor, the circular building of the previous were all built from perishable materials and thus nothing remains. The first two levels are rectangular in shape, with the center tallest enclosure being square in shape with all separate levels being set back toward the east, effectively facing west toward the causeway. The first outer level and the associated gallery measure 215 meters west to east by 187 meters north to south, with half open-sided gallery around the whole perimeters. The outer level gallery connects to the second level gallery on the west side in three parts, with the second level raising around 6.5 meters, measuring 100 meters west to east by 115 meters north to south. Second level features a fully enclosed gallery around its perimeters, and the area within this gallery may have originally been flooded to represent the ocean around the mythological Mount Meru. Inner level is square in shape, 16 meters on both exits, raising above 13 meters in height from the second level. The central tower raised to around 43 meters above the second level and over 65 meters above ground level. There are three sets of steps on each side that raise very steeply to the top sanctuary with over 40 large narrow steps each. The third level has 5 sections, respectively to each of the 5 towers, each connected by gallery with an open part in between. The tower were designed to look like sporting lockers walk, a traditional review symbol within Hindus. The central tower is the tallest and largest of the surrounding 4 towers and is raised up on its base by a few meters. Originally, this contained a statue of Vishnu and open on all sides. However, when the state religion later converted the Theravada beliefs, these were later brought in and converted to whole standing Buddha statue and carving.
Hi, I'm Loishan. I'll be talking about the ornamentation used in Angkor Wat. Integrated with the architecture of building, and one of the causes for its fame is Angkor Wat's extensive decoration, which predominates the form of bas-relief friezes. The inner wall of outer galleries bear a series of large-scale scenes which mainly depicting episodes from the Hindu epics, which is the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Haidam has called this the greatest known linear arrangement of stone carving. From the northwest corner, anti-clockwise, the western gallery shows the Battle of Lanka and the Battle of Kurukshetra. On the southern gallery follow the only historical scene, which is the processions of Suryavarman II, then the 32 hells and 37 heavens in the Hindu mythology.
On the Eastern Gallery is one of the most celebrated scenes, which is the chanting of Sea of Milk, showing 92 Asuras and 88 Devas using the Sabra Vasuki to churn the sea under Vishnu's direction. It is followed by Vishnu defeating Asuras. The Northern Gallery shows Krishna victory over Bana and a battle between Hindu gods and Asuras. The Northwest and Southwest corner pavilion both feature much smaller scale scenes, some identified but most of them are from the Ramayana or the life of Krishna.
Angkor Wat's architects employed small Aspara image, which is 30 to 40 cm, as decorative motifs on pillars and walls. They incorporated larger Diwata image, which is all full body portraits measuring approximately 95 to 110 cm, more prominently at every level of the temple, from the entry pavilion to the tops of the high towers. In 1927, Sappho
also Marshall published a study cataloging the remarkable diversity of their hairs, headdresses, garments, stands, jewelry, and decorative flowers, which Marshall concluded were based on the actual practice of Angkor Wat period. Well, this sums up my